My name is Larry Fisher, and I've been a federal accountant whistleblower for the past 25 years. My work experience includes the full gamut of our government's accounting and financial systems operation. During this very long period, I have questioned, observed, and documented the very flawed decisions and self-serving actions of our government's top six-figure salaried financial managers. More often than not, these senior managers possess none of the technical four-year college accounting degrees or certified public accountant certificates needed to do their jobs. During my 17-year career with the Environmental Protection Agency, I was removed from my branch chief systems and accounting job, occupied a fake management position for the last 10 years to limit all union protection, and received a 4-day leave without pay suspension in December 2006. All as incentives for me to leave EPA. My only crime was that I questioned the 20-year failed outsourcing effort of the federal government's accounting and financial software standards, the credibility of EPA's financial statements, and EPA's practice of systematically eliminating its credentialed accountants to hide all levels of gross incompetence and wrongdoing. On the surface, my story may seem a bit bizarre. Why would our government's top six-figure salaried financial managers intentionally eliminate the government's credentialed accountants and the very people needed to critique their outsourcing effort? The short story is that our government's top political appointee financial managers outsource their responsibilities to AICPA firms and financial software companies because they lack the technical credentials to do their jobs. The only way to cover up these very flawed decisions was to eliminate the government's credentialed accountants who questioned them. The long story, and supported by my documentation, is that our government's outsourced accounting and financial software standards were never designed to work. Rather, their sole function was and is to produce enormous profits for the revolving door bureaucrats who casually move between government and the private sector and their corporate friends. The National Accountant Whistleblower Coalition website, www.nawbc.com, includes the documentation supporting my allegation and hopefully a basis for a congressional investigation to address this cancer of lies, deceit, gross incompetence, and corruption that has become an acceptable part of our government's operation. As background information, the federal government's outsourcing fiasco began in October 1987, when our government's four key central agencies that include the Government Accountability Office, Office of Management and Budget, Treasury Department, and General Services Administration outsourced the government financial software to two off-the-shelf software vendors. At that time, all central agency managers were told specifically not to procure this software because there was no government-wide accounting standard and that all 24 CFO Act agencies' financial statements would still have to be prepared manually. Despite this knowledge, the central agency's political appointees ignored this advice and made the software available to all 24 CFO Act agencies. Then the Government Accountability Office consistently misled Congress in its last 10 consecutive years of written congressional testimony by continually blaming the CFO Act agencies for our government's inability to generate accurate financial statements at any level. Then in October 1990, the central agency managers again outsourced their responsibility of designing the government-wide accounting standards to the AICPA firms. Why is it that during the past 17 years no one, and I repeat no one, within the central agencies ever required these AICPA firms to produce an accounting model as proof of their accounting logic? The net result is that these outsourced standards are so deficient that even today, and 20 years after this outsourcing scheme began, the 24 CFO Act agencies are still preparing their financial statements manually. Ultimately, the political appointees' pattern of deceiving Congress does not stop with the Government Accountability Office or their 3 central agency partners, but rather extends to the 24 CFO Act agencies as well. As an example, EPA's retaliation against me was a direct result of the allegations that I publicly revealed on the NAWBC website concerning their successful attempts to hide all accounting and financial system deficiencies that I reported over the past 10 years. Their resultant violation of no less than 7 congressional acts and the concerted effort of EPA's managers to falsify their mandated congressional reports to again hide those deficiencies to obtain their clean and unjustified audit opinions. In closing, it is important for both Congress and the American people to understand that the design, testing, and implementation of government accounting and financial systems is nothing more than an application of basic accounting and computer science 101 concepts. We can begin this effort now, and with the few remaining government credentialed accountants and computer science professionals remaining in the government. However, like the private sector, we need real and credentialed accountants and computer science professionals to complete this effort. Therefore, I need your help in contacting your local congressman to support the idea of a minimal 4-year accounting degree requirement for all accounting and budgeting supervisory positions, including those of political appointees. For more of the checks and balances needed to address this government-wide and corporate corruption and ensure the integrity of our government's financial statements, please review the NAWBC website. Again, www.nawbc.com. Also, for a more in-depth view of other whistleblower issues, access the OSC Watch website, www.oscwatch.org. Thank you very much for your time.